Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and let's be honest, not everyone can understand all of it. That's why you should be listening to Simplified, where Chuck, Naren and Shrikeet take on the big issues in the world today and explain them to you in a simplified manner. They delve deep into the subject, by which I mean they go right up to the 5th page of Google results. I bet you've never done that. New episodes of Simplified are out every Monday, and you can check it out on the IVM app or wherever else you listen to podcasts. It's not that complicated, but if it is, then maybe you should talk to the guys from Simplified and ask them to do an episode on that.
Hey, you nerds, welcome to another episode of the Geek Fruit Podcast. Myself, Jishnu. His self, Siddhant Mehta.
Hello.
Of the website fame.
Hi.
Being the editor and all.
Yeah.
His other self, Navin Narona.
Yes.
Of the production fame.
Myself, very happy.
Of producing this podcast. Hey, is this the first time that we've been on the show together?
No, man.
No,
No?
dude.
No.
We've actually done this before.
No, we
It
haven't.
was you, me, and Tejas doing Logan.
Oh, that was so
fun.
good, though.
I loved.
Yeah.
I wasn't on that. I loved that episode.
I think
loved
this is
listening
the
to it.
final great combination right now.
We haven't done this yet. This threesome has not.
This is gonna be just corrupt. This is gonna be just do it.
Amazing segue.
On point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Threesome
Damn.
we've been waiting for a long time, and it's finally come true.
It only took 80-something episodes.
Yes.
Correct.
Finally got here.
But speaking of corrupt, that is what is happening these days. And that is what we're talking about. See how I did that?
No.
Are
No.
Like, come on, yeah. Like,
Do it again.
It was some version of a segue.
You didn't even stick the landing. What are you referring to?
I mean, I preempted the landing. I said, am I doing okay before I landed?
No. No one does that. You land and then...
Well, I did. I'm a rogue.
Okay.
Much like the pirates. That pirate stuff. Which is what we're talking about. Was that okay?
No. But we're talking about piracy.
Piracy.
there's
It's a
no
very
winning.
different thing.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit different. But, okay, before we get into that, I need to catch up because, Siddhant, you have been MIA for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You were off in Thailand,
Yeah.
tripping the light fantastique.
Yeah, it was so good.
Do people still say that?
Yeah, I think they should. Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you get to see anything?
Not
In
really.
your
Not really.
adventures?
I basically played Shadow of Mordor again on the PlayStation 4, and that was great. Killing orcs continually and all the time. It was good.
Man, the last Lord of the Rings game I played was Return of the King on PC, which also came out on PS2, I think, at the time. But that was like when the movie came out.
Yeah, that was
It
pretty
was
good.
a really
It was
good
pretty
one.
good. It was a pretty good game.
surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It had no reason to be that good.
It
But
didn't.
anywho.
It didn't.
Okay. So sounds like you, like me, when I went on
I've
vacation
kept
a while
away.
ago, I just
Yeah.
did nothing.
I did.
you enjoy the
I
nothingness?
did very little. Yeah, it was. I still listen to podcasts and I like read up on stuff, but nothing else really. I missed all the movies. I was meant to go watch Dunkirk and all that stuff, but I kind of caught up when I got back.
And that sucks, right? Like as grown-ups now, we don't know how to vacate properly. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
Like
It's an art, man.
as kids, we used to go out because there was an entire lifestyle shift, right? We'd do
Yeah.
something crazy.
Yeah.
I would go to my native place and like start exploring like jungles and shit.
Yeah.
And now then like I went back this time and they had Wi-Fi, so I'm like, might as well just stay.
Yeah, that's air conditioning is on.
Exactly.
I mean,
So it's just laziness has
Yeah.
taken over.
No, I mean, when I was on vacation a few months ago, like I had to actively will myself to not check YouTube and, look at my subscriptions and
Yeah,
whatnot. And
yeah.
so I would just like add stuff to my watch later playlist.
Yeah.
But then it sucked because the minute I came home, I had to binge in like 48 hours, like 3 weeks worth of stuff to catch up.
That sounds difficult.
It is.
That sounds very difficult.
Which brings me to an email that we got from one.
Full of segues, aren't
I know, right? See?
Segue time.
It's like I'm a pro. But not quite. From Aditya Mishra with 3 A's. So, Aditya Mishra?
Oh,
Let's go with that.
It's numerologically correct, I
Sure.
believe. Yeah.
So, he had some thoughts to share. He says, hey, I used to love, in the past tense, I used to love listening to your podcast. If you remember, I had also written to you some months ago to do a show about Game of Thrones. I used to love listening to the show, but sadly the show has started becoming a bit tiring these days. I hope you guys can bring the fun back. Well,
You know what?
we're bringing fun back.
Challenge accepted.
cool.
And this is the ultimate lineup.
So,
There's only going to be fun now. Now you're going to have so much fun. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know
age-old
what he's
question,
gonna do
guys. We've left this unanswered for weeks.
Yeah.
How many tests does Beethoven's wife have?
Ooh.
Beethoven the dog.
Beethoven's tits.
Mrs. Beethoven. I'm assuming Beethoven is like the surname.
Yeah.
Mrs. Beethoven.
Well,
How many tits?
8. I checked again this time.
Oh, you
Okay.
checked? Hey,
And
that's not fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a fact checker. It's his nature. Don't deny
this was
the man.
meant to be for like public voting.
But I assumed it was 6.
This is a democracy. Naveen.
I
You
was
can't-
going to go with 6 because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like a beautifully twisted number.
Eh?
It is.
What?
Think about it.
What is that?
6.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is that? What do you mean it's twisted?
3 by 2. Yeah. It's not symmetrical. Think about it.
The multiplication of how to get to
No,
what?
visualize the tits here, man. Like 8 tits is different from 6 tits. You know, you can. This is complicated, but we'll get into this at great length someday.
Okay.
And
fine.
you will see. I will have to use charts and diagrammatic.
Yes, I would love an infographic with like Venn diagrams. That would be
exactly.
appreciated.
I will cite numerous studies.
Cool. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Beethoven's Tits. Tune in next week to find out.
Why symmetry?
I'm still grasping my head over this.
Anyway, well, thanks for writing in, Aditya. We do appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much, and we hope it gets more fun.
We better email him the link to this one.
We should.
We should. Let
never do that.
him see how much fun we're having. Or let him hear how
Yeah.
much fun we're having.
That's right, Aditya with 2 A's.
If he's still listening, thank you.
The
Thank
fun keeps on coming.
you. Anywho,
Yeah.
cool. So that was that. Let me now just move on to actually what we actually want to get into just a little bit. So recently, as of under a week ago from the time of recording this, episode 4 of Game of Thrones is out. But you might have heard that a couple of days prior to it, the episode was leaked. Somebody hacked into HBO and made a really big ruckus about it. And somebody at Star, if I'm not mistaken, actually leaked the episode on the onlines to the whole world. Somebody at HBO just leaked the scripts.
Onlines?
Somebody just leaked the scripts from
On
HBO.
the onlines.
Star leaked
That
the
is-
video
That's naughty.
on the onlines.
That is.
Yeah, so the print of what I've seen. And
Did you see it?
I would
The
not
leak?
say that
Okay.
right now under any circumstances because we're on an audio medium and this can be counted as proof in the court of law. But I did see screenshots of what it was.
Screenshots.
Yes,
Can't
and-
catch a man who's only seen some
and-
You
screenshots.
saw those thumbnails before you did the
Yeah.
torrent download.
Yeah. So it was 2011 Star India Private Limited.
Yeah,
Right over there. Star
yeah.
India Private Limited.
Yeah.
I'm like one of these guys has done it.
No,
Right.
so that's
So,
okay.
can I just say, is Star now, Hotstar or Star now notorious worldwide?
Worldwide, yeah.
Yeah.
For that Game of Thrones channel that we should all keep an eye out for in case they drop the ball again?
I guess so.
I think they're getting cult status.
Well, here's the thing.
I think they're getting more subscription for a Hotstar now because
Probably, definitely is.
See?
Definitely.
It's all good publicity.
Yeah.
All
You
of
see,
it.
I loved that Torrentz Margulis ad campaign that
Yeah.
they had. That was witty and charming.
but now it's payback time.
What is this?
Oh,
Can
yeah,
someone
oh,
take me through this
while-
campaign?
while you were
know
in
I
the
don't
land of
watch
Thai-
any of this.
While
right?
you were in the land of Thai,
Yeah.
there was a billboard campaign across the country.
Yeah, it was not on
saying-
TV. It was on like
Yeah, like it was in
billboards.
some
Alright.
physical ads.
Okay, I missed
like,
it anyway.
Yeah.
Alright.
Just giant boards that said Torrentz Margulis.
That's why watch the signal when you're driving. Just be
Right.
careful.
Yeah.
What does Torrents Margulis mean?
Just advertising that
Dead-
you don't need to
dead to
download
torrents.
torrents. Just go to
Don't
Hotstar.
download torrents.
Don't download torrents. Go to
Why
Hotstar
do they
because
use
they have
foreign
it.
languages in our country? Have they not learnt? This is a Hindu land, guys.
Aren't
Come
there
on.
Aren't there like 29 languages in this country?
The technicalities.
Okay.
Anyway.
So the thing about the HBO leak is that hackers broke into the system and reportedly stole 1.5 terabytes of data, including scripts for upcoming episodes and 2 unreleased episodes of, hold your breath, hold it, 2 unreleased episodes of Ballers and Room 104.
That's wrong. That's wrong. The Rock will not stand for this.
I really want to know what went through that guy's head when he's like, oh, sweet, everything HBO has. Game of Thrones, of course, and
Ballers. Ballers. The Rock running the show.
So they
Yeah.
clearly
Come on, dude.
got their priorities right.
It's a
I
show
guess.
with The Rock in it. You gotta take that one. You
It's
gotta.
It's a good show, but if that's the show you want
No,
to
it's
leak,
a terrible
like,
show.
come
I
on.
can't
Like,
watch
if
it.
you're clearly
Can't
doing
watch
this for attention.
Also, Jishnu,
Yeah.
I noticed that you paused for dramatic effect for 1.5 terabytes.
Yeah.
I really don't know, like, why that's a big deal. Like,
I
it's
mean,
it's a terabyte.
It could have been one terabyte is not that impressive.
But the 0.5
But it's
is
the
what
0.5
set you
that-
off.
that
Yeah,
makes
he
it
just used
count.
like one hard disk for the entire download. Like that's basically it.
So that's the thing.
Yeah,
It
like
might
why
have-
is
no,
like,
no, no, no.
if
See,
you said 1.5 terabytes in 2008, I'd been like, man,
No, yeah.
that is a lot of stuff. 1.5 terabytes worth
here's
of
the
stuff.
thing. What I'm thinking about is, was it just one hard drive that was a 2 TB drive which was not full, or was it a 1 TB drive And then, like, he was in the throes of, like, holy crap, somebody's coming. He's doing his Mission Impossible, like, hanging from the ceiling and shit. It's like, crap, I can only
then he's like, take it all and
I can only take the
act
0.5.
cool, act cool.
Yeah. He had to, like, unplug just as a janitor was
So
walking.
I'll just take Ballers while I'm at it.
Ballers is a smaller
Quickly
show.
snatch
like,
it
just
while
grab
no one's
that.
looking.
Just grab the
Hey,
half
what's
and-
room 104 BT dubs?
Yeah, but
no, I have no idea.
I genuinely have no
I
clue.
don't know.
Have you heard of it?
Probably will hear about it now when you
Yeah,
take it online.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so the fun fact about it, though, is that the third episode of this season had 10.1 million views, right? This episode that was leaked, and a lot of people did, in fact, see the leak, still surpassed 10.1 and broke records and made 10.2. It's the highest watched episode in the entire series, the one that gets leaked. So the leak really didn't do squat. And I feel like that's kind of the theme, that's kind of like what I want to get at today. I feel like leaks are a dime a dozen. They've been happening for a long ass time, and they will continue to happen because we did an episode, Siddhant and I, a few weeks ago talking about fans kind of have a little too much power these days.
Yeah.
We've sort of, creators have a lot more pressure on them than they rightfully should. Like, you should be able to make your own damn thing and not have to worry about being too hush-hush about every little detail. We're at the point now where if you want to get any bit of information, you want to get any bit of footage from a set, you want to get any bit of BTS, you want to see scripts in draft stages, you can find a way to get it. But it doesn't inevitably matter, I think, unless you indulge in it. Because that's on you, right? Like, so this past weekend, when these leaks happened with Game of Thrones, everybody and their mom that I met was talking about, did you see the leak or didn't you? Right? And I think what happened with those conversations was that people are judging you based on two things. One, if you did see the leak, it's because you care so much about Game of Thrones that you cannot wait and you do not want to risk a spoiler ever happening, so you see it before the spoilers get out there. Or two, you didn't see it because you care so much about Game of Thrones and you don't want to see a shitty version of it. So it's kind of it's its own little paradox of like, because if it's coming out 3 days apart,
kind of contrary to logic.
it
in
really
its own
is,
way. Yeah.
isn't it?
So
Yeah.
okay, I'll tell you what happened on Friday. When the leak happened, it was Friday evening. And so usually I'm the one who goes online on Monday morning to
Right.
watch it first on Hotstar.
Yeah.
So I don't have to spoil it for anybody, but even if someone spoils it online, I'm aware of the fact, so I
Right.
don't give a shit. But that day, on Friday evening, I'm traveling to a gig on my way in a local train. This dude is watching the print right in front of me.
Oh, God.
And I'm looking everywhere else
Oh,
because
my
I'm
God.
seeing the dragonfly. I'm like, oh my God.
no.
Oh no! Like so
Wow.
like from Friday evening to Monday morning, the waiting would have been like
Yeah,
tremendously
yeah,
difficult
yeah.
because and you have to go online. Everywhere
yeah.
you go, there's people like tweeting
Right,
about it,
right.
Instagramming about it. Like 9gag is already making memes about it before it's actually released. I'm
Right.
like, come on. So at that point becomes for a lot of people like me who like to be in the know rather.
Right.
They would be like, you know what? Let's just watch it and just be aware of what's happening and then
Yeah.
like don't spoil for others. Be
So
nicer.
another question to tack on to this as a larger sort of question. This show especially, actually this show is pretty much the genesis of this. It's been around in TV terms for a while now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel at this point, because we're so intertwined with culture, literally filtering in from every corner, internet, telephone, any form of connection you have to the internet, you will see something about Game of Thrones. Basically, someone will WhatsApp it to you if possible.
Yeah.
We
People
are
were doing
literally-
that, like in groups or WhatsApp groups, just get
people
the
are-
people
torrents,
just do
it, yeah.
drive link. They're sending the drive links. You know?
Yeah, and the point is, are we watching Game of Thrones as soon as possible, literally just so we can feel relief that we didn't get it spoiled?
Yes.
Because that's
genuinely believe that.
That is amazing. Like,
Oh,
it's
it's
not even so they're getting all these views which they would have gotten. Like, we have video on demand now, man.
Yeah.
We can watch this stuff anytime we want.
Yeah.
They were not supposed to be able to like premiere things on a TV schedule and have people watch that and say that that's the true impact. That's everybody watching it. But at this point, if you are not there on the day watching the thing, contributing to this tracking metric that they have of
Yeah.
TV viewership,
Yeah.
you are exposing yourself to spoiled country,
Absolutely.
getting ruined by this, and you pretty much can't turn your head without seeing something referring to any of this stuff.
No, absolutely. I think it's always a very interesting point in a conversation. It's a very unique feeling when you're with a group of people, and it's a very unique feeling when you're in a conversation with a bunch of people and the question comes up, did you guys see last week's episode of Game of Thrones? And there's somebody in that group that says, oh, I don't watch Game of Thrones. It's kind of, it always feels like this rebel being that sort of saying like, I don't subscribe to what 99% of the
I do it all the time.
population does.
I just don't watch it.
Oh, I know that you love to do that. Yeah, you enjoy that.
I love it.
You're sadistic.
I love it.
You love doing that.
And people look at me with incredulity.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like,
because the thing is,
why,
Game of Thrones.
why do you hate life so much?
Because Game of Thrones has gone beyond pop culture to just culture.
No,
it is ingrained in the way we
it's not even
think
culture.
now.
It's literally you just judge people.
Yeah.
You just judge people by it. You're like, how do you feel about this will inform me of your very nature. Do you like so-and-so character?
Right.
If so, why?
Absolutely.
And if you say this or that, I will know who you are. And I'm not touched by
But
this.
I'll be honest, I actually
Yeah.
got a job because of Game of Thrones. Like for 3 minutes, the interview, I was interviewing for this company called Book My Show, and I had to write for them. So they wanted to know if I'm into pop culture, right?
Yeah.
And the interview and my boss and I just spoke about Game of Thrones for 5 minutes, and I got the job. I think at some points in life, you have to have like some of the major, like for example, if you don't watch Breaking Bad, or if you don't watch like Friends, and if you don't watch this Game of Thrones, you are not like a part of this zeitgeist that people are, and you feel like a pariah.
I get
sometimes.
it. I mean, I watched Friends. I watched most of Breaking Bad. Then I got bored of it.
Oh
and
my
then,
God.
And then this happens.
My heart just
and
sank.
The thing is, television has never been my medium. Like I just
You don't have the
tune
attention
off.
span.
Yeah, I just
that's
tune
fine.
off.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And I know movies will end, so I watch them. You know
So you know what my solution for you is?
what?
September 1st. Well, not in India, I guess, but sometime in September, in IMAX, the first ever crossbreed of film and TV.
Are you trying to push Inhumans again?
Yes.
You
should watch the first two episodes in IMAX.
I still don't
and
know
then you get into
why
it.
you still watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I still don't know.
We haven't given me that episode yet.
Because
I need my
I
own
feel
series.
like, I
to tell
feel like you
about
have not begged enough.
Or convince us enough that you should,
Yeah,
like, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Like, as a producer, I think no.
because
Yeah.
because I don't think either of you want to sit here for 6 hours. So I'm not going down that rabbit
No,
hole.
we're literally going to shoot you at every turn.
Exactly, yeah. So, like,
Essentially.
I don't-
It's just gonna be-
I don't bring it
It's
up.
going to be
I don't bring
it's
it
gonna
up.
be like a roast.
I
a
stay
roast
in
of
my
Jishnu's
little
favorite
cave,
show.
and I just do my thing. I have my little Phil Coulson bobblehead that I just play with, and I pop him on the head and I pet
Look
him.
at
and
how
he's
cute
cool.
he is.
Yeah, he's so cute.
Yeah.
Little earpiece and shit. It's
But
great.
okay, so
What were we talking about?
people lose their shit
Yes.
over this show, Game
Right.
of Thrones.
Yeah.
And if you are literally not at the crest of the wave, you are either being crushed by it or it's passed you by.
Yeah.
And that's kind of amazing. I
It is.
think
It's-
that's
like I
kind
said,
of amazing.
I think in a word, it is transcended pop culture and is just global
Exactly.
culture.
You can talk about the show to anyone.
You know what it is. Like you ask, like you said, you know, when you find out, when you ask somebody about who you like, who you don't like, who you're rooting for, that kind of informs you about them as a person. It's equivalent to everybody in the world has an answer for which Harry Potter house are you in.
Correct.
And your answer tells you what kind of a person you are and where you think your morals lie in some weird way.
just,
Everybody has an answer
I
for
don't
that
know why you're
question.
doing this. You're just picking up all these things that I have no connection with.
See?
Like I've read two
He's
Harry
such a
Potter
Slytherin.
books.
Exactly.
He's such a Slytherin. He
Two-
enjoys this.
two
No
Harry
matter what you
Potter
leak
books.
for him, doesn't matter.
2 Harry Potter books, and I'm like, this stuff's boring.
That's-
Like, I don't need this in my life.
He's not a Slytherin. He's a filch.
I noticed there's a change of conversation at this point where it's become less about leaking footage, more about people convincing Siddhant to watch something that's cool, right?
Let's take a break on that note. Let's
We'll
do
catch
that.
up, we'll convince him some more in the meanwhile.
That was Tantric Steve from Hansraj College, Delhi, performing at IIT Bombay's Mood Indigo. Just like them, there's a lot of new talent and art coming out of colleges all across India, but unfortunately, most of this goes completely unnoticed or ignored. To fix this, we started atkt.in. Hi, I'm Ankur. I'm a musician and a rapper, and I found that one of the best things about being an artist myself is finding new talent. Through atkt.in, Tanya, my colleague who's a dancer, and our whole team really is putting all of our efforts into discovering and promoting all the coolest talent that's coming out of colleges all across India. And this goes up on our website, our social media, TV, radio, and now, of course, this podcast with IVM. Make sure you go to our website, support the talent with your likes, your shares, your comments. All of that really matters. Go ahead, check it out. atkt.in.
Hey, welcome back to the Geek Fruit Podcast. So before we get back into the conversation, I almost forgot about another email that we got. A really nice one from Manik De Silva, who says, "Hey guys, I'm a fan from Bangalore writing in. Just wanted to drop a message and say I really enjoy the podcast. It's such fun to have something like Geek Fruit in India because apart from creators making awesome films and comics, what the country also really needs is just smart people talking about the latest." He called us smart guys, by the way, just so you know.
I mean, thank you, Manik, already.
Smart people talking about the latest in film and comics, and y'all are amazing at it. I think this is the double high five emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah, double high five.
Double high five.
Which city are you based in? Bombay. There's the answer to your question. It would be amazing to catch up at some point. Let's do it. End scene. That is all. Thank you.
That's nice.
I'm so happy with this email.
You're a very nice
I like him more so because his name is Manik De Silva.
Yeah.
And like I'm one of those people like Navin Narona. We don't get a lot of these like Prakash D'Souza and all these.
Yeah.
Like a very Indian first name, and so I'm glad that he is part of that tribe.
He's not from Bandra, which is doubly amazing. Anyway, cool. So to get back into it, question for you guys: what was the first thing you remember illegally downloading? Torrenting or lime-wiring or whatever you want to call it.
Man, that's a doozy.
I am a young criminal in that case.
When did you first do it?
I think I was at 10 or 11 or something.
Yeah, I mean, that was the same. You're 89 born, 88.
87.
87. Oh,
Yeah.
so...
This is like 20 years ago at least, yeah.
Yeah. Damn, son.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
I can't remember. What did I even use back then?
I can tell you mine, and my method is what, whenever I think back on it, is I'm still befuddled as to how I figured it out. I downloaded...
I used Napster.
Oh, good. Where'd you get?
I think Offspring.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the entire album or just one song?
You couldn't do entire albums, man.
Right, yeah. So what song was it?
I think it was something from...
Conspiracy of One.
No. Yeah, probably from Conspiracy of One. Yeah.
Great
I think it was Come Out and Play or something like that. Like
that's a deep cut. That's not even like one of the big ones.
What are you talking about? Come On and Play is such a good song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
It ain't a single. But cool. They are back and they're
amazing.
Really well. Their festival circuit.
I mean, it's probably something else. I just don't remember.
I will do you one. My first one, also music video on Windows Media Player. Somehow or the other, I got it on Windows Media Player. I don't have any idea how that worked. Weird Al's Amish Paradise.
Nice.
Have you seen that music video?
It's been a while.
It's pretty great.
It's a parody of...
it's Gangster's Paradise. And it's a like shot by shot kind of a remake, and it's amazing. And that introduced me to Weird Al. And Weird Al is a great person to pop your cherry.
He's actually a torrent, or rather pirate hero in the sense that there was no other way to get his music.
Absolutely.
There was no other way. So if you had Weird Al, people knew, like, you could tell that this person has procured it somehow. It is technologically literate in some way. So...
So I have a twofold answer to this question.
Yeah.
So back in the day, like we didn't have. So before I got my PC, we used to have these guys who sell CDs in my area.
Yeah, of course.
Like, but it wasn't like the guy who sits with the whole bunch of CDs.
Okay.
This guy would have one CD with 3 movies on them.
Right.
And we would rent it out for like $40 for like the day.
Oh wow.
And you could use the CD for the day and then give it back to him.
Interesting. Where was this?
Like it was all over the city. Like this was like a very underground thing that happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember my family wanted to watch. Like we got a first DVD player, and then my mom sent me out, like find the movie. I'm like, okay, that's a mission. And
how old were you?
I was, I think, 8.
Okay.
And I got Munna by MBBS. I think.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got Munna by MBBS, and we watched that and very very glitchy and very
Crappy,
shitty video.
Yeah.
But we were like, that's a family thing to do now.
Yeah.
And we used to get
It's a family
Family that pirates together stays together.
This is family time. We must all pirate together.
Yeah.
No phones at the
It was
piracy
that or
table.
WWE. Like my family was
Nice.
very extreme
That's fun.
things. Yeah. And we used to get cable also on TV, which was all pirated basically.
Yeah, you had those channels
which
they would just show up
the
for
pen
like
video thing would bounce
3
on
months. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy would go for a break in the middle of it, and the DVD sign would just like bounce around. It was a fun thing. And so then I discovered torrents, and the first movie I downloaded, I looked back at the time, and I was 15, and downloaded Austin Powers.
Nice.
The spy who shagged me.
Oh, the first one.
Nice.
Nice. Very cool.
That's a good movie.
So that's what I downloaded.
It's a
Yeah.
great movie.
Yeah. No, we were talking about this for a hot second earlier. Like, what's your guess, vague guesstimation for how many terabytes in your lifetime you have illegally acquired?
Oh man, I have 2 hard drives.
Only film and TV. Only 2 hard drives. But I mean, like your entire life.
That I've collected, and
Yeah,
then I
I
started
have
streaming.
over 2 hard drives now.
Yeah, so I just start streaming after that, like things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I felt very proud when I got my first Netflix subscription and stuff like that. I was like, wow. I thought for a second that era is done. I was like, that era is not done.
It's not done at all.
It's just sidestepped a little bit.
Yeah. But I have at least a Shemaru library's worth of stuff tucked away. Actually, this is the thing with hard drives. I think the only reason you would ever buy them is because you torrent like a crazy person.
Yeah.
And I've had every kind of hard drive. I had, in the beginning, you had to get powered hard drives. They didn't have the plug-and-play USB-powered hard drives.
Right.
So you had to get those. Then I thought USB is too slow. So, you know...
Firewire?
No. I did one better than that even. So you know how SATA works, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So some computers had SATA ports on the outside. So you didn't have to like plug it in directly to your motherboard. So I got an internal hard drive, put a case around it with a SATA output, and I got a SATA wire. That was the cheapest hard drive I ever made in my life.
But how fast was the MTNL download speed? That's what make or breaks this entire thing.
No, I've never used MTNL.
Oh, wow. So, how do you do it? Wow, that's amazing.
That's,
I envy you.
No, I've gone through various random providers from Hathway to local cable.
Hathway
and local cable is the only way to go because they don't know what they're doing and they just give you stuff. So,
man, like I've had MTNL for so long.
Yeah, seriously.
And I'm too lazy to go and give them the modem back. That's the only reason.
That's the problem.
And they're lazy to disconnect. Like,
I can't let go.
Keep sending me bills.
Like, I'm way too
Dude,
apathetic.
I had a WiMAX connection.
What?
A WiMAX connection was, they used to give you a small dish to put outside on your balcony. And that would just plug into a modem, which would plug into your computer.
Nice.
And it would send you a Wi-Fi signal over the air onto the thing.
That's how most of Wi-Fi signals happen.
Yeah, no, but this is my primary connection. So there's no other wire. So it's literally a Reliance WiMAX connection. So literally put it to this dish wirelessly from wherever the hell it is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Technology. It's an amazing thing, isn't it?
Dude, there was a downtime on MTNL recently, and I have to bring this up. I called this lady to ask her, like, can you like get someone to fix this? And she lost her shit on me because she's like, how can you ask me to like work for you? I'm like, dude, the customers, they have no idea how bad their service is.
Oh yeah.
MTNL as a company sucks. As a concept, it sucks.
Yeah.
As a concept.
Yeah. So please. MTNL. So I had to get it out of my system.
Oh, that was good. I think y'all all felt that one.
Yeah. All right, we will continue this discussion after a short break.
Shunyavan, 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 Shunyavan.
$1 billion acquisition. Another copycat startup got formed.
No. The tech world in India is surely moving double the speed of this voiceover.
Tune in to Shunya One every Tuesday to catch us talking to the smartest people we know on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
We're back. What about it?
The only reason all this is important is because all of this literally would just work towards how much you could pirate on who you knew. The coolest thing in the whole world in this, at least in this city, let me rephrase that. The coolest thing in this whole city is if you could somehow hook up a trip to the IIT Bombay campus, to the secret legendary IIT Bombay Soho, because they had actual terabytes of data on there years ago. And they had everything. It was a huge library of data that some guys would just keep putting stuff in there. They would just download like robots and chuck stuff in there. And you need to know somebody in IIT to take you there.
To get access.
You'd plug your drive in and just fill it up in like an hour, because that's how long it would take to transfer everything, obviously. An hour or two, and you'd get like 300 GB of crazy stuff, like cult movies, French films, anything. What the hell do you know? You're like 17, right? So you just take anything and watch it.
And since it's an engineering college, a lot of porn as well.
Yeah,
like,
that was it. That
one
was
guy
the
designated
scene.
to have like porn full of like...
So that's what I'm saying. This server had everything. Like I'm pretty sure you let other people speak about in equally reverent, hushed tones, like the IIT Bombay just server, like where they kept the stuff, you know. And it's pretty intense. You really think about how much stuff that we have collected or downloaded over time. If you really had to manifest it physically, it would literally be a Shemaru library worth.
More than. Yeah,
like so many movies.
If you're only counting movies and films.
No, music too.
Music
like,
well,
man,
I think
music.
you'd have a
the thing is, we just download, we just click stuff, and it just comes, and you don't even know what to do with the data anymore. You know.
But one thing I was thinking about though is that seeing as how we've been downloading for about 2 decades now, pretty much. Ever since like I remember, since the birth of like Napster and Kazaa and LimeWire. And all
I
that
used
stuff.
Napster.
The thing is, if we didn't download, we wouldn't watch these things. We didn't have access to that.
No access.
So,
I think that's another thing. We have absolutely no moral problems with this. And,
we don't.
And we're clearly breaking laws continually.
But I think we don't. I feel like we don't have a moral problem because we're now seeing the fruits of showing our interest to the creators.
Exactly.
And the powers that be out west can see that there's a market for it. Like
and
they're
then,
now making.
We're now cool at chucking a couple $100 into this mix every month.
Our first line of defense was they don't release these movies in India, so why should we like ever go to like the lens of watching it somewhere else?
Sure, yeah.
Why not just download it and watch it over here? So that is everybody's defense. Like I remember when I used to go to work 2 years ago and I would have the Game of Thrones episode in my pen drive, I would walk in like a boss because I felt like they owe me something, right? Because I was ahead of all of them and everything. But they were like, oh, we don't get to watch it until they legally made it available on Star World, and then they cut everything out of it. So we're like, we still don't want to watch your shit.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, like take Hotstar. So we have a medium for you to watch it.
Right. The fact that Hotstar is bragging about the fact that it's uncut shows that, I mean, they're smart. They know what people want. They know what people... And, I mean, they're not the only ones that know what we want, but they're the ones that finally are able to deliver and aren't afraid of some other higher powers that be, you know... sort of putting them down, stuff where there's like bad language. It's immoral.
It's the same moral equivalency, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've kind of earned our right to get access to these things and for these channels to have an Indian office based here.
Well done. We've justified more than 20 years of piracy.
Yep.
I'm so glad for all of us.
We worked really hard for this, guys.
And now it makes sense. Anyone asks you anything, just tell them this was the reason, you know? This was it.
It was all
your fault.
It was all working towards a bigger plan.
Yeah. Look, now we're part of the global marketplace.
This is what we'll tell our next generation. You know?
Yeah.
In our days, we didn't get proper content, man.
We had to steal it, man. We had to steal it.
Illegally. Like the cyber cell was on our asses all the time.
All the time, man. All the time. I had a hacker name and shit.
Did you?
No, man. I wish I did. Yeah. Although you did have to have handles for so many of these things, right?
Right? Did you?
Yeah.
For which one?
I don't remember now. I've had so many of these services. I literally don't remember.
I think at some point my Tumblr name was Rock Your Socks Off.
Nice.
You had a Tumblr?
Yeah.
Actually, I had a Tumblr.
I had a Tumblr as well, yeah.
How the hell did we get on Tumblr?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, but we're talking about handles and piracy and how it's
okay.
cool and stuff like that. So yeah.
It's not cool.
It is cool, okay?
Don't do it, kids. Just like...
That's the thing. Kids don't need to do it.
Yeah, they don't because we give it to them.
Yeah, we made it available for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've given them access to it by showing our demand is so freaking great that we are willing to download an entire season of something even before we've watched one episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff you would do. Like I remember like you'd have to get whatever you could get, and if it was only available in the highest res was the entire season, then get the whole damn season. And if you don't like it, delete it.
Okay, let's also look at it from this point of view. Torrents and general piracy has taken a serious hit. I mean, P2P is all but dead. And for the most of us, it died like years ago. Who P2P'd, who took it from that point of view? Like, it's been too long. I don't even remember the last time I had a P2P client or to download anything. And now, torrents, every month, one of our favorite places is dead. So now it just comes down. And it's literally the last holdout. The great bastion that is Pirate Bay is the only thing left.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass came back though.
Kick-Ass is still...
I mean, they come in and out. They one gets bumped, another one pops up. It's like Hydra. You kill one and then another one.
No, when they were collecting money online to get the guy.
Yeah, but Kick-Ass torrents are all mirrors. So they just mirror their old files.
Right. Yeah.
And then the mirror gets taken down eventually. But here in Pirate Bay, the servers are hidden somewhere or the other. One of their ideas, and I'm not making this up, because Pirate Bay was so scared that if they have physical servers anywhere, that they'll get caught. Yeah. They decided... They came up with a plan to rig drones.
Wait, let me guess. To rig drones and put it in the sky and keep it constantly moving.
Yes,
I think this is the plot for like Speed 2 or something
like
that.
This actually happened.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they have a prototype of this somewhere.
Is it like an armored car?
No, it's literally a drone server flying around. They have one of them. And I mean, these people have created the Pirate Party, an actual political party. So they know they are not short of crazy things that they do. So... Yeah. Turn into a political movement, torrents, man. Like, that's crazy.
So, speaking of all these various leaks, of all the hacks that happen and whatnot, is anybody surprised to have heard, just a couple days ago, Disney announced that they will, when Toy Story 4 drops, which will be in a couple of years, Toy Story 4, the live-action Lion King, when those come out, that will premiere, or I guess debut, the launch of their Netflix counterpart. They're going to remove everything off of Netflix and house everything on their own subscription-based
My
download
God.
platform.
I think that makes complete sense.
I think it makes sense because then that way, like, when eventually Netflix gets hacked, which it will, you don't lose everything. There'll be, at least Disney will have their own strong.
I think the point here is they
And they have
have
the money to
control
do
of
it.
their own stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
That's all they want.
Yeah.
And Disney by itself has enough content to
More
make
than
its
enough.
More
own.
than enough, yeah.
Yeah.
They have more than enough content, more than enough money to do what
They
the hell
have
they want. So they
Star
will.
Wars, they
Power
have
to them.
They have Marvel, dude.
They have Pixar.
Yeah.
So the thing is, power to them because then, they're safe and I want them to do well, but it sucks for us, right? Because then you have to then pay for two things
Food, yeah,
to get
different
it.
altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already at 2 things, right? I mean, we're all at multiple things. How many things have you subscribed for?
3
right now.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it'll just be a 4.
Amazon Prime, Hotstar,
Yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazon Prime Hotstar. Yeah, that's what sounds about right.
Yeah. Aren't they holding HBO ransom?
Exactly,
Yeah.
holding them ransom, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
funniest part.
For how much? They haven't disclosed that though.
They have given them 3 days as of now and said we have to give you 7 million or something.
Oh, is that the figure?
Yeah, and then they're we'll leak everything online. And HBO was like, yeah, do it, bitch. We don't give a shit.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, people are still gonna
What
watch that.
are you
stuff.
gonna
I mean,
do? What are you gonna do to us that we can't already do?
Yeah,
Okay, but so then
we have
so,
Star India as partners.
Yeah.
So
How
other
much
Show me your worst.
Show me your worst.
Yeah.
So okay, here's the thing. So besides actually having downloaded the video itself and being able to upload it and stream it for people, a lot of what these hackers get from the various hacks that have happened, this HBO one, Sony several years ago, Tarantino got, yeah, I guess technically it's a hack. People steal scripts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that way you don't even see a product, you just know that, oh, by the way, Danny dies. Shit, cool.
And
Or,
that's shitty. That's very bad.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, so where do you guys stand on it? Would you still watch it or still subscribe to it?
Wait.
Because
wait.
what?
Are you talking about scripts and then someone reads the script and then puts those spoilers out?
Yeah, because then the thing, like, what I'm getting at is, like,
Yeah.
in the case of Tarantino,
Okay.
he is infamous for throwing, tantrums and whatnot about this kind of stuff. So
Sure.
when Hateful Eight got leaked, the script got leaked while it was still being drafted, he threw arms up in the air and was like, screw it, I'm done with this movie,
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever do it. And he was already always advertising he's only going to make a finite number of films. So,
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's one less than the 3 I have left. So screw you, I'm fine monetarily, I don't need to make this movie, so I won't. And then a few months later, he goes and makes it. So...
But it did change the aspects of some of the
He
script.
did, yeah, because he knew that people had seen version 1.0. He
But
made
that's,
version 2.0.
You go into it and now you've changed it. It's not what you wanted it to be.
But see,
If I'm thinking as Tarantino.
That's a different level of spoiled for choice kind
but
of
the
thing.
thing,
thinking of it,
isn't
yeah.
that the same argument that we have brought up many times about reshoots and director changes and things like that? It's the same thing of, like, we know what's going on in the guy's head before it gets made.
See. But the
that
difference
too much power?
is we aren't seeing the takes before they decide to reshoot it.
Right.
It's still the company in the production house and the director and everyone behind the scenes taking a call together. The audience is not involved.
But then, so are you saying you would never read these scripts, right?
No. But this is the key, right? We as in the audience, as we had discussed in the fandom episode, can literally find any way in. There's so many leaks, there's so many avenues, there's so many people on set, there's so many people, paparazzi taking pictures, and from that you can decipher what's going to happen. And if you sit and get all the information when the thing is in progress or being made, and you say, oh, this is the thing, and spoil it, you've made a decision for those people. Like, this is now out in the world, and we know that you're going to do this, and some of us have this opinion. What happens now? Because that's a choice they didn't have made for them. Like, it wasn't like this.
It's a
critical
self-defense. It's a self-defense method. Of
they have to do something. They have to do something.
Yeah.
See, they already do stuff. They already expose it very small doses to the outside world when they do those screen tests and stuff like that. But there's a protocol to it, and there's a way that they manage it. And when they make the stuff, also they give them fake names.
Yeah, all the time.
All these Marvel movies have fake names on set, so people think they're shooting something else. And then it's actually this movie.
Yeah.
Because they've gotten to that level of secrecy.
They even circulated to the theaters in that name itself.
Yeah.
till the very
We're
last
putting
day.
this movie out. And then 8 months later, it's like, oh, by the way, this is going to be Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So there's already a humongous level of paranoia. This is, I mean, if Spy versus Spy existed today, it'd be like trying to get into this sort of argument. Because it's so bizarre that a company is trying so hard to keep things under wraps. But it involves so many people.
So to that end, okay, now that I think about this, I'm going to talk about something about episode 5 is coming out now. But by the time you hear this podcast, the episode should already be out. So I'm hoping
spoil anyway.
I'm hoping this is not
spoiler
a spoiler
warning anyway.
Spoiler warning. So maybe skip ahead if you don't want.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's if you haven't seen episode 5.
No, this is a spoiler warning. You know.
Whatever.
Now you know.
Okay.
We're going to talk about episode 5 of Game of Thrones
Here's
this
the thing
season.
about the episode yet to come
Star
out.
India does it again.
Yeah. So the episode yet to come out, right? The IMDb page shows Gendry, who has been missing for like the last 4 seasons or something like that. He is credited in this episode. But 2 days ago, they removed him from the credit. So, is that a genuine slip-up? Or is that, like what you said, paranoia of like, holy crap, we can't give away the fact that a character's returning because there are so few episodes left. If somebody comes back, it's a big deal. So,
man, people are so dedicated. People are so dedicated.
Dude, Game of Thrones is like, so the thing is, people are looking out for this show like so closely.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the whole Arya and Brienne of Tarth fighting scene, right? That happens in Winterfell in episode 4. Like, so there's a dialogue where she mentions, Arya goes like, you promised to protect both my mother's daughters.
Yeah.
And there's some shadowy figures that walks in the background. So people are like, that's Catelyn Stark's ghost and she's come back to life. And,
oh, damn.
And like, so people write columns about these and stuff. Like, they make money out of this. So the point being that everybody who's interested in the show will go to the IMDb page every morning and refresh and watch it. Like, so what the company will do, obviously, they'll send out a cast list to everybody, every publication that has to publish the cast list. That's how the system works. So when they did that, obviously, like Gendry, the actor, was credited to it.
Yeah.
And then somebody saw it and then made a fuss about it. Yeah. So now they were like, oh shit, we shouldn't have put it out.
Yeah.
It's the general sweep up, right? Anybody can go.
But that could be the case.
But people will consider that a spoiler now.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I wish I didn't know. Now I know he's going to be there, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what this
But then
person is,
how much can you like stay away from all this? Because even after Jon Snow, Kit Harington was like, okay, he died and I'm not coming back to the show.
Yeah.
But some guy went and shot his photo in Belfast when he was shooting and then it was all over the internet and then we all know he's coming back. Yeah. Which we knew in our hearts of hearts. But
I was going to ask, that dude died or what finally?
No, he's back.
He did die finally.
He died finally.
But that wasn't the end.
Yeah, so then somebody leaked the set footage like between the whole season and then we didn't have to know that. We didn't want to know that. But because somebody else is keen on leaking that footage or the photo for that matter. So now we know. For example,
actually, this story is really funny because I was watching I think it was Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Fallon or something, and the actor Kit Harington was on the show, and he told the story of how he was driving in the States,
and he got pulled over.
He got pulled over, and the cop was like, "I need to know how this happens,"
and he got off.
And he got off because he told him the secret that him and the director and the scriptwriter knew.
Here's the best part. He could have said anything, and the guy was just like, "Okay."
Yes, but look at that. Like, look at that. The law is openly being flouted for this, for spoilers, man.
Yeah, of course.
For spoilers. And this cop could probably lord it over people. He's like, oh, you don't believe me? I took a selfie with him. Now what you got?
So now
he had to tell me. Otherwise, going to arrest him and give him a fine. So under pain of law,
his street cred is off the
exactly.
charts.
So now 10 years later, if Kit Harington dies in his own pool of vomit, then be like, we entitled him with all this. Yeah. Because he can be Jon Snow for the rest of his life.
Navin has done the time skip here and gone pretty far. Kit Harington's going to die in the future.
Yeah, because he's Lord Snow. He's like, everybody loves him and like, he's regarded as the best and everything. Yeah. Like, I have met dudes I'm on dates with and they're like, Jon Snow's cuter. I'm like, you can't say that right now because I'm in front of you. But you know the point I'm trying to make. It's always Jon Snow. So I'm just saying, like, there's a possibility.
Well, have you heard that Jon Snow and Ygritte are actually engaged?
Dating in real life.
But you know what? They're engaged, I believe. But also in the same month, it's like nerd fans everywhere were like really excited. Yeah, they're actually getting together and that's amazing. Same month, Chris Pratt and Anna Faris.
Yeah.
And like, I guess that's just
my
like universe.
When
the universe is just like.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Chris Pratt is breaking
his heart.
Oh no. He doesn't have a heart. That was just an expression he's using right now for our listeners so that they can humanize him in some way. Right, Naveen?
That is true.
Yeah.
I do comedy in my free time. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You go do comedy while I try my best to wrap this mother up. Do you have any final thoughts to add? Cool. So, thanks so much for listening, guys. Aditya, I hope this was more fun. We're doing our best. Thank you so much for writing in. And you can find us on the onlines, because that's probably where you're listening.
The onlines, man.
Find us on the onlines at www.geekfruit.in. Siddhant is El Capitan of that ship, and you can read many of the exciting things that he and all the rest of us write. If you would like to help us out with that and write in yourself, by all means, please do contact us at contact geekfruit@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and all the other stuffs at geekfruithq. You can find me on Twitter at Jishnu Guha. You can find Siddhant at
Siddhant_Meta87.
You can
Twitter.
find what?
That's my Twitter. Yeah.
That sounded a lot more complicated than it should be.
I know.
You can find Navin at
@no_Rona. And if there's any leaked nude photos of mine outside the internet, just let me know. I think I might have leaked myself if I've not been careful.
Yeah, I see that happening. Naveen's got plans, guys.
And if someone's watching those photos, it's even more disturbing. Like, why are they even looking at mine?
It's the fappening part 4.
I think, no, they're on 5 already.
Oh, they're on 5. See, I'm too far behind.
No, so that'll be 6.
No, that'll be the number of Beethoven stits.
Thanks for listening, guys. #Beethoven stits. Bye, you nerds.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.